Welcome to the next webinar as a part of the Komax Digital Experience Days 2020. My name is Manuel Oberhensli and I'm Product Manager for Application and Repeater Products at Komax. Today, I would like to talk about the fully automated application of individual marked tubes with M1650 tube. So we're looking at the tube marking, the marking of wires with printed tubes. With the new module M1650 tube, Komax achieved another milestone in the process automation for the fully automated wire harness manufacturing in the industrial sector. The goals we set ourselves should help our customers in the industry to optimize processes, reduce cycle times, and finally save costs. With automation of the printed tube application, we increased efficiency in harness manufacturing on the Komax set of machines and close another gap in the process chain. I will get into the general topic of printed tube application up next. Along with the efficiency, we also see the importance of error prevention, which can be increased with the automation in general and also with this new module. Finally, it is important that we keep a good amount of flexibility nonetheless for different applications with the same module despite the high degree of automation we see. During the webinar, we'll also gain some insights how the module performs in a production environment. Therefore, we visited our customer BBC Bircho Automation, where the module is already being used. So, let me first introduce you to the general topic of wire marking with printed tubes. So, what is tube marking and where is this type of marking used as an alternative to other proven marking systems like inkjet marking or laser marking? As already mentioned, wire marking with printed tubes is mostly used in industrial applications. This can also be seen here on the pictures. So we have a control cabinet construction. We see also wire harness. This marking system is a proven standard in control cabinet construction, as well as in the railway industry and other industries. In addition to printed tubes, there are also similar marking systems being used, like special wire clips or printed labels, which are wrapped around the wire. But these are not in focus in today's webinar. These markings include information like terminal designation for the wiring, and one great advantage of this marking system is that these labels can be replaced later, for example, when components have to be replaced in the field. Now let's talk about the reasons why this marking system is widely used in the industry and highlight some of the advantages of tube marking over other marking systems. So as I already mentioned, the printed tube can be turned and moved on the wire. On one hand, this allows the right placement of the marking on the wires so that the information, so the imprint, faces to the front. This ensures a well-arranged layout in the control cabinet, and so it looks just better overall. Now, on the other hand, the wire can be cut to length during the wiring without losing the marking on the wire. So for example, if we're talking about the inkjet marker or laser marker, where the marking is mainly in the front of the wire, it needs to be cut to length during the wiring, the marking may get lost. That's not the case with this tube marking. Another important advantage is the independency of the wire color. Due to the dark printing on a plain colored tube, these are mostly white or also yellow. A high contrast is given for good legibility of the marking. Additionally, thermal transfer printing system, which is also commonly used for such applications, ensures good abrasion resistance. But I will get to the topic of the thermal transfer print later. Now I would like to show how such printed tubes for wire marking are prepared and applied in workshops as of today. So in most cases, the application of printed tubes is still a manual process, as we also can see on picture on the bottom left. So these labels in manual work, they're printed using a benchtop printing device. So it may look like this. There is a variety of different models and manufacturers in the field. They're printed on such benchtop machines and then sorted based on the wire list, also manual step for the preparation for the wiring. Yeah, these pictures give an impression how this works today in workshops. And it becomes obvious that this process has room for improvement when it comes to efficiency or error avoidance, and therefore offers considerable cost-saving potential. So that is where Komax comes into play as a long-term expert in the field of automation in the industrial sector. With the tube marking module M1650 tube, which I briefly introduced at the beginning, our engineers found a way to automate this manual process for the Komax SETA transfer machines. Now let us learn what this means for process consistency in the control cabinet building. So the goal of automation in the industrial sector in general sure is to enable a consistent data and process flow from the order up until the implementation. The automation of wire processing and preparation for wiring are crucial steps in this process chain. It's located here in this picture. With the new tube marking module, the M1650 tube, we close another process gap for the wire processing and therefore reach a process consistency which has never existed before. Might sound like a small piece in the whole picture, but nevertheless, for applications which use printed tubes as wire marking, will bring 3 to 4 minute process down to around 1 minute when it comes to wire processing. So the Komax SETA line consists of established transfer machines which are already widely used for high efficiency process automation in the industry. These machines of sure play an important role in the concept of smart cabinet building we have just seen, and also in the automation of this whole process chain. The M1650 tube can be integrated into SETA 630, 640 and 650. It's even possible for maximum flexibility to install up to 2 M1650 tube modules on the larger machines, the 640 and 650. This may be advantageous if different tube types are needed in one set of wires. Now, talk a lot about the concept of tube marking and process automation in the industry, control cabinet construction. Let's now experience how this works in practice. So in the next few minutes, I will explain the functionality of the new tube marking module from Komax. But before diving too deep into the details, and because a picture is worth 1,000 words, let us see the functionality of the module in a short video. So here you can see the printing head and the cutting unit here. The tube is fed from a reel, printed on and then prepared for the application of the wire. Thanks to the rotational unit we see here, a tube can be applied to the wire while the next tube is already being prepared in sequence. The application of the tube on the wire is done by a sophisticated gripper system which is laid out to process different forms of tubes. So don't worry if this went a little bit too fast. We will see the functionality of the module again during the testimonial input at BBC Bio Automation later on. Now let us have a look at the module as a whole. So core of the module is the printing unit we can see here. So it is to say that this printing unit is a widely used standard in the industry and it's been adapted to our needs. So the tube is directly fed into the printing unit from the reel. back here, and printed on using a thermotransfer ribbon. The cutting unit cuts the tube to length and conveys it to the gripper system we see here, which prepares the tube for the application on the wire. So the module is also equipped with a height adjustable foot we see here. That's for precise installation on the Zeta transfer machines. I already mentioned that we need to keep a high flexibility despite the fact that we have a high degree of automation on the Zeta machines. So the M1650 tube can sequentially produce the tubes. Well, this means that the tube length as well as the printed information can vary from one wire end to the next. And on the other hand, different tube types and tube forms can be processed. So you see here. So the gripper system allows the processing of different tube shapes. So we can process flat, oval, and round tubes on the M1650 tubes. So it's a basic form how it comes from the reel. If needed, there are application sets for each tube type, which can be interchanged on site and in a very short time. Looking at the processing range, we cover a wire diameter range from 0.5 to 6 square millimeters. So this is to say that the crucial parameter here is, however, the out diameter of the wire. There we have a range from 2.2 to 4.8 millimeters. I already talked about the thermotransfer printing system, which is used in the M1650 tube module. So this particular printing system is, as I said, proven and widely used in the industry. This has, of course, many advantages. Thermotransfer printing itself has advantages like high abrasion resistance and high legibility, as I already mentioned, because we print on white or yellow tubes. But there are additional advantages to highlight for the daily use of the module. So if the thermotransfer ribbon comes to an end during production, it can be easily changed in a very short time, thanks to an accessible quick locking system. Due to the fact that the printing system, as we see it here, is widely used in the industry, spare and wear parts are also widely available. As you see, the module is designed for an extensive and user-friendly use in production. The change of the consumables, in other words, change of the tube reel, and also the thermotransfer ribbon is a matter of less than 5 minutes. It takes even less time for more experienced operators. A change of the application set, as I said, for different tube types. So if another tube type has to be processed on the same module, can be done on site by the operator. Therefore, the thorns of the rotation unit we saw and the gripper jaws are changed to be ready for the next application in less than 20 minutes. We also have a storage system for different application sets on the module, so you don't lose any parts. Let's now experience how the module performs in a production environment. For this purpose, we could gain insight in the production of our customer, BBC Bircher Automation, who already uses the M1650 tube in their production. BBC Bircher Automation, as part of the BBC Group, has 160 employees at the production sites in Switzerland as well as in the Czech Republic. They specialize on consulting, engineering, control cabinet construction, also in installation. So BBC Bircher Automation is therefore an ideal testimonial for our tube marking module, because the wire marking process with the tubes, they used to be done also manually in the past at BBC Bircher Automation. So the module, the M1650 tube, is installed on a Komax Zeta 640, which we can see here. That's the actual machine which is in the production at BBC Bircher Automation. And additional process modules installed on the machine next to the M1650 tubes are ferrule crimping, a crimping module for other terminals, as well as a bundle unit. Let us now watch the testimonial input from BBC Bircher Automation.
BBC, Bircher Automation und Komax wollen gemeinsam den Automatisierungsgrad im Schaltschrankbau erhöhen. Die auf den digitalen Zwilling basierende Steuerungsfertigung profitiert von den Automatisierungsmöglichkeiten und reduziert die Durchlaufzeit und Kosten. Die Maschine Komax Z640 schafft das fehlerfreie Ablängen der Kabel, das Abisolieren, Bestücken und Beschriften beider Kabelenden in nur wenigen Sekunden. Uns war wichtig, dass wir durch das neue Komax Schlauchbetrugungsmodul M1650 Tube einen weiteren manuellen Prozessschritt automatisieren und somit eine Prozesslücke eliminieren konnten. Außerdem können wir das Personal, das die Litzen früher manuell bearbeitet hat, heute wertschöpfender einsetzen. Sie konzentrieren sich voll auf die effiziente Verdrahtung.
I think that's an interesting point he mentioned at the end. So that employees who used to do manual work of tube printing with the benchtop printers, as well as the cutting of the tubes and the preparation for the wiring, they can now be assigned to more important tasks like, of course, the wiring. So now I hope you gain some interesting insights into the world of tube marking and the solutions Komax has to offer for this process, and also how the new module, the M1650 tubes, performs in production environment. If there are additional questions regarding this topic, feel free to contact me either through the chat function or later on my email. So I want to say thank you for your attention and have a good one.